Howdy folks, Nathan here with a 2020 Toyota Corolla Hatchback XSE, top of the line. This one has a CVT, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But here's the cool thing. Think about it as an almost hot hatch, because it certainly looks it, that is very comfortable to drive, fairly economical to drive, and not as cheap as perhaps it should be, but nonetheless, an excellent car. Well, first of all, let's talk about the engine, because you guys are interested in the very powerful 168 horsepower four-cylinder engine that puts out 151 pound-feet of torque. Yeah, it's not a lot. It's a 2-liter, but the good news is that it is very efficient. Combined MPG in this vehicle with this transmission is 33 MPG. That's not bad at all. This is a continuously variable transmission, but it has something special that no other vehicle in its class has. It has a gear in it as well. So what it does is it helps you on takeoff. One of the things about CVTs that's always been an issue, especially for sportier cars, is the fact that they feel very laggy when you take off. There's a lot of shouting and not a lot of movement. This car's a little bit different. It's like a conventional, regular, automatic transmission. Takes off immediately, not super fast, but it just goes. And then the CVT kicks in once first gear is done. And now I'm shoving my foot down. Okay, there it goes. You have to get it up to about 6,000 RPM before you feel things happen. It's not like a turbocharged engine where there's lag at the beginning. It goes because of that transmission, but it just doesn't go hard. But it gets better because for less money, you can get a manual transmission, and that is cool. If you got a base model Corolla, either hatchback or sedan, it's not quite as nice as this one. This has raised white stitching, soft touch materials, pretty much everywhere you put your hands, especially on the door panel, and I love that. The entire layout is very simple and a little bit more user-friendly. Here, this overall layout, the screen, everything here is very easy to reach. Majority of your heating, air conditioning controls are right here. Very easy to hit, no big deal. And then of course, your infotainment system. That's pretty much it, other than having a sport button, which makes the car feel a little bit snappier, but honestly doesn't do much. Other than that, your seat controls are way up here, and then you have wireless charging available. Everything else is just a simple layout because this is a fairly simple economy car. But I really like this, and I'll show you why. Even somebody like me can find their way around fairly easily. It's not a big deal. Everything's fairly responsive. Yes, it does have Apple CarPlay. One more thing. Can you see these here? They're paddle shifters. Yep, paddles. They're the paddles. Remember, this is a continuously variable transmission for the most part. That means that these are here to make it feel sporty. As you're driving, you can hit this up to 10 times. It's 10 simulated gears, and it will slow down and make RPMs rise. It's not necessarily more sporty, it just feels that way. The car's exhaust note. Almost feels sporty, but it just doesn't quite get there. Now, one more thing you guys should see, and that's up here. This display on the XSE, I actually like it quite a bit. It is very simple. I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, yeah, that's digital on a really inexpensive car. Is that a good idea? I think it is. It's very easy to use and very intuitive. One other thing that you guys should know, and it's a little bit of a disappointment, A car like this should have a standard sunroof, or at least an optional one. It has neither. Go figure. There's good news and bad news coming from the back of the Corolla Hatchback. I love the way it looks, and I think a lot of you agree. It's a pretty handsome car. Looks faster than it is, that's for sure. And in the back, it has an independent rear suspension, which is great. That's great for handling. It really makes this car fun to drive around corners. Unfortunately, it also has these. These are fake exhaust outlets, and I have no idea why Toyota went and did this. I mean, they're not even hollow. There's nothing there. It's just a piece of plastic. That garnish is there just for looks. At least put tubes there that go to an exhaust pipe. Why not? I'm sure there's some aerodynamic reason for it, or perhaps economic reason, neither of which really satisfies me, and it is a major gripe with this vehicle. Ah, yes, it is tight back here. This is another place that is a bit of an issue with the hatchback. You actually have more usable backseat space in the sedan, and it's especially noticeable with legroom. The headroom's not too bad. My head's not touching the top. I'm 6'1". Now, in order for me to get behind myself, I actually had to scoot the seat up a little bit. Otherwise, it would be really difficult for me not only to get in, but to get out. Yeah, I know I'm a big guy, but come on. The good news is the seats, both back and front, are very comfortable. And once again, it has this raised white stitching. Very nice, very comfortable. It's just there's not enough space, okay? Once again, this is where Toyota doesn't fare as well with their hatchback versus their sedan. And that brings an important question. Why bother with a hatchback? Yep. Not a massive trunk, but a lot bigger than the sedan. The sedan's around like 13 cubic feet. This is a lot more. That, my friends, is 17.8 cubic feet of cargo space behind the rear passenger seats. It grows to 23.3 cubic feet if you put the seats down. That's actually a pretty decent amount of space, and the cargo area is fairly flat once you get those seats folded. That's all positive. It's not best in class, but there is something you guys should know. Underneath here is a proper spare tire, and there's a little bit of space in there for extra stuff. Let's talk about one of the best parts of this car. It's a compromise because it handles pretty good. Around corners, that independent rear suspension, the relatively sticky rubber, they're great. Not a lot of feedback through steering, but you still are very confident as you go through corners. Here's the good news. The looks. I think this is one of the better looking vehicles in its class. Not everybody loves the mouth. Most people say it looks angry and maybe too big of a jowl. Well, compared to the Avalon, this is a small mouth, right? I love the headlight setup. This little chrome piece is really nice. The overall design aesthetic of the vehicle is very aggressive, which is, dude, it's a Toyota Corolla. But this, as an XSE, has a lot more. And that's including these really good looking 18-inch wheels, and they're on Yokohama rubber. Another thing, it has two-tone paint. You can actually see right here where it goes to this darker roof. Let's talk about value, because that's where a Toyota Corolla comes into its own. This vehicle, as a hatchback, base price is just over $24,000. The black roof spoiler and side mirrors are $500. The XSE Preferred Package, $1,600. The Blackout Package is $293. The 4-season floor liner matte package is $418. Frameless HomeLink mirror, $175. Door sill protectors, come on, $165. Rear window spoiler, $375. And courtesy delivery, $65. Now here's the problem. With that pricing that was listed, this vehicle, fully loaded, comes out to just under $30,000. And for an economy car that doesn't have a turbocharged engine, that's a lot of dough. What do you guys think? Is that something that you'd be willing to spend money on? I will tell you this, in terms of performance, it handles great. In terms of ride, it has one of the best rides in its class, and it has a decent interior. But there are other vehicles out there made by Hyundai, Kia, and Nissan that are more than competitive, not to mention Volkswagen. So guys, it's going to be an interesting call. Personally speaking, I can't wait until they make a performance version of this vehicle. For the Fast Lane Car, this is Nathan. I'll see you next time.